Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's LTA 2025 matchup.
Difficulties with visas. LYON, the support, is not actually here with us today, so they will not be playing with him live, and haven't been able to get as many scrims as Cloud9 have.
Yeah, and honestly, that is a big topic for the intro of this match. Like it's definitely a rough spot. You saw, Licorice is, brought in the cutout. They've got the cutout set up there.
It's at the computer.
But he is playing from Mexico City, so it is definitely something, they have to work around. But sometimes, Kangas, you're faced with some constraints, and you got to make it work. Meanwhile, on the Cloud9 side, they did over a month boot camp in Korea. So I actually have a lot of favor as far as their prep goes. Whenever you get to get that long of a nice boot camp, they were talking about scrimming both LCK teams as well as challenger teams over there. So really help them get to know their new members and everybody starting to work together. But one thing they picked up there, ban the Skarner.
Yes, Skarner has been the highest presence champion globally. I was surprised to see it actually make it through in game one here. But there they are. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. But Skarner is banned away this time, so it's Nocturne locked in for Odilan. What a champion to pilot in your debut in LTA North.
Nocturne has been getting pretty popular, and I always do love the vision games that you get when you get a Nocturne. So I kind of like starting out with this. Of course, some of the really good pairings there. Aurora is always very popular. Orianna, of course, passing the ball over to Nocturne is a possibility, but Cloud9 respond instantly with two giant AoE teamfight pickup champions here for themselves. So they know what they're going into, and it looks like they are fine with that choice. The Orianna that we were talking about to pass the ball to Nocturne is like the classic super long range off screen. Get that Orianna shockwave traveling.
And the Ambessa locked in here too for Licorice, who's returning now to LYON, and the only North American player on this team from the LCS. Piloting the Ambessa, a very strong champion in the top lane. We've seen what she was able to do even in that last series, and rocking a decent win rate right now globally. If it's Renekton locked in, that might be a concern, because win rate for this champion globally has actually been lacking a little bit. It's under 50% right now.
Thanatos, though, definitely a big fan of the champion, and I do like it into Ambessa. Ambessa, I'm always worried about scaling, so I wonder if Cloud9 can get like an earlier game plan on board for themselves. Of course, with their first two picks that they slammed and are showing, giant AoE with the Aurora ultimate and Wukong. One of the strongest team fighting junglers on the patch. Seems like Cloud9 are definitely going to index really heavily into that strategy, rather than prey on side lanes with a Nocturne or get these like long range Orianna deliveries. So I think I do like that with the current setup of the meta on new season. The new season with so many neutral objectives does favor a lot of these team fight focus groupings. Just a chill guy watching some
maybe
chill
my favorite
LTA.
Sign yet. That's a good sign right there. But you highlighted the fact, the importance of these grouped up team fights around things like the new Otacon, like the Dragons. And it seems like Cloud9 are doubling down. They're not going to go for a more peel back defensive style. They're saying, no, we're going to match you for power. Ash can also set up plays, find people out of position. Okay,
so we got a little bit of wombo of our own. Nocturne Orianna delivery plus a Rel and Misfortune for a little bit of answer in that AoE department themselves. When you're looking at that much engage, they're already starting to think counter-engage here with a Renata. As soon as you see them coming forward, Renata ultimate is always so nice versus Misfortune also, even though Renata ultimate travels pretty slowly. You kind of cover off one of those big AoEs. Another counter-engage champion that you may be familiar with.
I still
as a cosplayer.
I don't make anything from the RP sales for this. No, nothing for the skin sales.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Braum, though, matching your style with the bald and the mustache is also a great counter-engage champion when you're looking at all that front-loaded AoE.
Used to get Braum, now I get Dr. Eggman. Either way, it is locked in here for C9. Like you said, it's counter-engage. It's also great in those team fights around those neutral objectives, but now they have a little more column A, a little bit more column B, where they can go in if they want to, but they can also peel back from this insane dive of LYON. You talk about Nocturne as a ball delivery system, and Ambessa, Rel, both also fantastic at setting up the Orianna for those big combos. So Cloud9 have to play with a lot of respect to the engage tools of LYON in their debut game here in LTA North.
Ooh, definitely an exciting one here. LYON versus C9. Sven and Vulcan back together on the Rift. I know a lot of people have been anticipating the return of that duo.
Dynamic duo coming back. Their win rate together is incredible. We might be able to talk about that later once we get into the game, but as the coaches give their fist bumps, you know what time it is, everybody here at the Riot Games Arena. C9 fans, LYON fans, make some noise for your teams on stage. They're getting ready for their first ever LTA North game.
Yeah, I like that. We got the little intro. Nick Inero Smith is joining the Cloud9 side. Little coaching edition for them. Another bald edition.
I was waiting. I was waiting to see where you're going with that, because there's only one way you could have gone with that.
We're collecting all of them.
You'll join us soon, Kobe.
It's like we've got the TFT trait going.
Just keep giving out the emblems to everybody. They'll join the team. We're into game number 1. C9 on the red side, LYON on the blue, and already no early invades from either side. The big thing to keep out for is, do we get lane swaps with these compositions, or are both teams happy with the traditional setups?
Yeah, and I'm always really focused on level 1s. When you have strong champions like Braum, who's passive, it's just so massive in level 1s. And so that's why we saw a little defensive opening from LYON there. They had the Tri-Brush warded on the bottom with everybody right behind it, waiting to see if there was going to be like a Cloud9 brute force invade. You know, the lane swap wards that you're talking about have become very popular. Teams looking to get those super deep ones, but nobody goes super deep this game. Doesn't want to take any chances there. And you get this. These are much more like solo queue classic ones where you just grab the ward on the Raptors so you can get that timing. Of course, Nocturne is almost always looking for full clears so you can get your ultimate, but it's a similar thing for Wukong. Wukong also very good scaling jungler, trying to play off its level 6.
And we're also seeing that both of the teams have opted for the lane swap. So Henna LYON's going towards the top lane with Sven and Vulcan following suit. So we'll see if either of these teams is trying to get the better of each other. Who had the read, who had the counter read, as Thanatos and Licorice. If either of these top laners can get ahead, you have the ability to kind of get a snowball going. Renekton at first item, Mbessa at first item, both of them feel great. I just feel like Mbessa as a champion, her kit is so strong. We saw it take down a Cassante earlier.
Yeah, I feel like, too, it's a little bit different as far as the timings that they want to work off of. With Renekton trying to use a lot more of the earlier timing. So I wonder, and Thanatos is always known for really strong lane phase as well, and something they wanted to highlight on Cloud9. So very, very anticipated matchup here between him and Licorice, with a lot of Licorice fans as well, I saw in the audience.
Also another one of the ex-Cloud9 top laners. A while ago now, but
Cloud9 has been around so long that there are so many ties with a lot of the players. And yes, Licorice is definitely one of them as well.
Pick an active player, 50-50 that they probably played for that org at one point or another. But as we get a look at all these lanes, it looks like top lane currently shoving in right now for LYON, as Licorice is taking some rougher health trades, and mid lane about the same here. But junglers are passing opposite ways. When I think of which one can make an earlier play, I really think more on the Wukong, but I'm curious if he's actually going to go for something.
Yeah, it's pretty much all about the setup of your lanes when you're playing two like level 6 style jungle champs like this. So both of them, like you're saying, they just do the opposite sides, full clears into Scuttle Crabs, and then the only really time that you want to invest any extra time would be if your lanes are setting you up with a very volatile lane or a lane that has a lot of CC for you to basically make your gank really easy. Otherwise, you basically just go get your ward, then you do your reset and go for another one.
Well,
but here
both
it
are
is
in the mid lane right now.
There's
Saint's in some trouble. Blabber's going right for him. Doesn't have the red buff available, so Saint can just walk away. Blabber doesn't want to go for the flash.
Yeah, that low chunk on a pushed up mid lane member does at least delay them. So does cause Audia as well to cancel his Rico, but basically got his Raptor ward down, goes for his reset now, and both junglers will look for their secondary clears. No big cooldowns expended in the mid lane, even though that was a little bit dicey with the low health because of the frequent trading that we've had between Loki and Saint, who, by the way, are both imports into the LTA that are very familiar with each other. Both these two players played in LCK Challenger, and they actually played quite frequently. Saint got the majority of the wins here. Of course, he was on the DK Challengers, which was a bit better of a team. And their Like, laning phase was pretty decent, but he generally got the upper hand and was generally had a bit more of a fandom. But listening to it was quite interesting listening to Sven talk about their scouting process and how they picked up Loki and their boot camp that they had down there. They're really, really impressed with his work ethic and the way that he sees the game and incorporating him into the Cloud9 side. So I'm very excited to see the way that this mid lane matchup does end up going.
But there were some voices, some of our contemporaries over in the LCK that pay attention to the Challengers League, saying Saint, arguably the more hype pickup, the more prestigious pickup. I know that LYON fought pretty hard to get him onto the roster, so they're still pretty happy with their mid laner here. No one's gotten a big lead over each other in the mid lane so far, but you never know with players of this caliber. Whoever's able to get that early lead can just run away with it. But I also want to talk about some of the players on LYON that have been around the LLA for a while. LYONs in particular, multiple Worlds appearances, an MSI appearance, and heavy roam style of support. On something like the Rel, I like to see them getting out onto the map. We saw them hovering mid a little bit ago. So far has been hanging around the top side mostly, but could always look for action with LYON, who's close to level 6, level 5 right now, and going for the grubs early, where Blabber's on the Dragon, so we're actually just trading the neutral objectives on spawn.
Yeah, should not have too much action. Licorice comes up to get a peek, but it's really just confirmation that it is objectives traded. And again, I generally do favor the grubbies in it. Oh, they're actually going to have Saint roam down too, and they get Blabber off the Dragon.
It. That's the ultimate use. Now, can Loki make anything happen here? Between Worlds is available, but Licorice and Saint just walk away.
Okay, so it is just going to be Blabber's flash. It does delay him on the Dragon, but no flash for the Wukong does actually diminish your threat of your level 6 power. So we'll see if Cloud9 are still going to be able to get off nice Blabber level 6 play. Meanwhile, since they have so much vision on Blabber and they know that he's stuck down there at the Dragon longer, you get a little counter jungling as well.
I wonder if Blabber will read it, that his red buff's probably being taken right now, and go for his own invade. There is a window to do it, but I actually like this from LYONs. It looks like he's running towards the bottom half of the jungle to maybe cover that.
Yeah, there's a couple things here where you have priority in your mid lane and your top lane. So like you're saying, you get the first reset on your support for LYON here. So LYON gets out to cover that possible invade. And you've had constant pressure from this Orianna, from Saint in the mid lane, who was able to, of course, make that roam over to the Dragon. So Saint looking quite good so far, very early on into the series, even though we have had no blood.
They're just biding their time, Kobe. Everybody here is just waiting on the edge of their seat, thinking, when is it going to happen? When is the big fight? Now that level 6 for Nocturne has been hit, could happen at any moment once you're ready to go for that big play, maybe a dive. But with no neutral objectives, arguably less likely to happen. It might just be still a farm fest until that second spawn of grubs. As surprise, surprise, I'm going to guess we're getting a Ravenous Atacon here.
Yeah. Voracious?
Voracious, yes.
Voracious is the hungry one that wants more kills, the one that does spawn the majority of time in pro play. Of course, they did make some adjustments on this patch too, trying to boost up the spawn rate of it in solo queue and then kind of reduce it a little in pro play, so you get a little bit more mix of the two kinds. But yeah, definitely in the low kill games, we're going to get that GA version. And with 0, that's a pretty low kill game.
Yeah, pretty low kill. Yes, damage factors into it as well, but we haven't even seen that much trading. So what I do want to talk about is really the only advantage that we see on the Rift so far. Thanatos over Licorice, just in pure laning phase and the farming. You talked about how aggressive he is as a player. This is now his second year coming in to play at this level here in North America. And he's having a great performance so far, just putting Licorice very far behind in the matchup.
Yeah, and they're flipped Australian lanes that they had started out with. And again, he's such an aggressive laner, but he also got the counter pick and the Renekton into the Ambessa for early stages. You do need to really make it worth it, and he definitely is.
Yeah. Ooh, but now we have the first Paranoia used. No flash available on Blabber, remember, and now the bullet time over the top, but he's just going to Cyclone in, go for the engage. Oh, interruption from Vulcan onto LYONs, who's now in trouble, has to flash away, but here comes Loki between worlds. Odiland low, flash forward from Sven for first blood. C9 with the counterplay.
A lot of credit to the Cloud9 bottom lane there, and then to Loki as well for the earlier roam coming down on the Aurora. Big ultimate from him. But Sven and Vulcan really holding it down for Blabber. As you mentioned, he was a little vulnerable without having his flash, and the Braum really doing a lot to stuff that engage. And then the turnaround and flash forward. Sven back on 80 carry, gets first blood. Here's a look at the setup, trying to deliver on the first Nocturne ultimate, and that's the idea. They want to punish Blabber without the flash, and so Blabber knows the only way to get out of that Misfortune ultimate is to go up a little bit. Vulcan comes in to help block for him, and the chunks that they get onto LYON was enough. Lucky was able to tag there with the ultimate, and then Sven flashes in to finish it off.
Yeah, I like the look, but much like Reggie's LPL plans, that play kind of fell through right there. Now C9 ahead and goal from Sven, getting that first blood. Can accelerate himself a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's very different how these two mid laners do interact. Like, Aurora is so good at making her own plays. Orianna is so much more passing the ball and delivering the shockwave for someone else to make such a huge play. So I do like the first look that we're getting, but that was definitely an impactful one. Now we're going to get the swap as duos go mid, push mid, turn your mid pressure over to the Grubs, and it looks like they will be able to take the other pack. So we're not going to have any huge advantage in tower taking for either team if they can just continue to split those.
But we're denying the Grubs from LYON as well, so they're not going to be able to push these turrets faster. Maybe LYON can get some vision set up at the Dragon, but the spawner is a little off, so it's not going to be a pure trade. I like this from C9, just getting onto the Rift a little faster. Now they can correct their waves, get back into mid, push that out, and it gives Vulcan time to reset and run straight down towards that Dragon to get their own vision line down.
Let's see about the wraparound. Honestly, too, with your control wards here for LYON, should be fine. Don't have to worry too much. Blabber does have his flash back, though. If he can go pair up with Vulcan and try and pull out the play. Looks like they're going to head on down and try and get both of them as well. I mean, honestly, going to wrap around here.
Yeah, Licorice could be in some trouble here between worlds from Loki. Oh, Public Execution misses. He was trying to use Vulcan as the escape tool, but has a lot of dashes regardless. That's Mbessa, everybody.
Opposite side of the map does mean it's going to be overloaded for LYON side. They did get seen moving up there, though, because of the deep wards from Cloud9, so isn't really going to be a dive. Thanatos playing safe under tower, knows the threat is looming, so it's just going to be a little counter jungling there again. Adiland going to take away another red as payment. But Licorice with no flash. It was a necessary flash. Had to get away from Braum stun that was going to come through. But in the end, Cloud9, not only do they get the second pack of Grubs, but they also get the second Dragon. So,
and the fact that they don't give anything over topside, like you had highlighted. Thanatos still has all summoners. He's able to just hide under the turret. Seems like LYON have not really been able to find a way to get into this game. And I wonder how much of that is you go for that first play, you get rocked. You got to not let that affect your ability to go for the next play, because that is what the Nocturne wants to do, is utilize that ultimate cooldown effectively around these objectives. And so far, they haven't really been able to find that since the initial play went south.
Yeah, they've got plenty of time to work with, though. No pressure just yet. I mean, Orianna doesn't even have first item yet, so plenty of power still soon to come here for LYON once you can start to get some extra items behind the Orianna Nocturne combination, deliver those shockwaves, start to get your big picks there. It is going to be a little bit worrisome for them, though, because Loki with the Malignance, very low cooldown on Aurora's ultimate, and can constantly look for those pick plays. It makes you have to play very safe as an Orianna.
Might just look for something right here. Weirding's not going to land, so Saint can just walk away.
It's just a little bit scary sometimes to play side lanes. Of course, you are the one that has a Nocturne on your team, so you have that little bit of coverage there.
But he's been on vision from a lot of the game. Odilan, even right there, taking the blast cone over the wall. C9 know that there is a Nocturne in the Dragon Pit right now.
Yeah, just chase him out. Even they can just go for the reset here for Sven. Get an item on Ashe first. Full reset and then actually look for it. So looks like they're controlled, nicely controlled here for Cloud9. Comes right back out. Kraken Slayer done for him as well.
What's the opposite of paranoia? Like where you always see where the Nocturne is?
Yeah, when you have full confidence.
You have full confidence. I'm not sure. Either way, that's exactly what C9 have right now. They got full confidence because they've been able to track ODLAN on the Rift so effectively. And we just haven't seen the ability for LYON to find that play. Now, Herald is coming up here. So far, there really haven't been scraps around the objectives, but that could change. LYON are on the Rift right now. They're dropping the wards down, and they're trying to control the avenue in, but C9 are there too.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get first push on side lane up here on top too. So once again, Loki on the Aurora gets a push in wave, move down. They have plenty of defensive vision, but it is Cloud9 constantly pushing the reset timer when they want it. Like it's LYON don't really have a lot of opportunities here to pull out any sort of surprise play. Cloud9 are kind of controlling on their item spikes, on their moves.
Ooh, Licorice finding a nice trade onto Thanatos right there. But yeah, just talking about the map play, as I don't think anything's really going to come of this. Yeah, Licorice should just back away. Talking about the map play, it kind of feels exactly how we set up, though. C9 is a team that went to Korea. They scrimmed together, boot camped together for a full month. LYON are a team that things really just came together in the last couple of days for them to be able to start scrimming together. Shout out to Neyman in one of the interviews they did with ODLAN about how difficult it was to practice and how a lot of their practice was grinding solo queue, which I think, I mean, talk to Surdy and what you heard from him say on pros, not the best practice environment for pro play, and LYON have been a little slow on some of these plays. I think that is telling of the difference in preparation that each of these teams has had coming into the season.
All right, well, next thing to prep for is the arrival of the Herald here. So that's why we see Blabber once again walking with his Braum, getting brush control, get a little bit of a chunk here.
Right now, we're just waiting with bated breath, but whenever Saint's not on the screen with ODLAN, I'm wondering what the game plan is from LYON at that point. Because if Orianna's spotted top wave, C9 also, even if you don't know exactly what the Nocturne is, you know that Orianna's not going to be part of that combo, so you don't have to be as worried. And the Braum kind of nullifies a lot of the misfortune anyway. I think C9, they're in such a good position to control the access point to this Herald right now.
Yeah, as well as both of the side lanes, kind of, because since Thanatos had such a good early lane phase, you know, little advantage for him down on the bottom side. Then you've got the Aurora-Orianna matchup in a side lane also, which also should favor Cloud9. So them being able to control vision around mid is like the only question mark. Since you've got both side lanes taken care of, plus mid taken care of, now they can start it up.
Saint is teleporting into the mid lane. This could be the first time that we see LYON go for the full combo, where Orianna is there with ODLAN. Paranoia is available. Everything's available. Do they want to pull the trigger? It's already gone. Blabber just secures the Herald as now teleports are coming in. We're looking at Vulcan, but Thanatos can try and frontline engage from LYON, but Loki between worlds. They get onto the back line. Blabber and Thanatos just running loose on LYON. And they will crush the team fight, get the objective. Licorice in full retreat now as well. Looks like he might be able to get away from that one, but that is disaster for LYON, and Cloud9 feeling great about that play.
Yeah, Cloud9 been controlling the setups for the last like 10 minutes here. Grubs into Dragon, into mid lane tower with the activated Rift Herald. Just got the Rift Herald, immediately summit in at mid. Get the tower, get the charge, and get Dragon number 3 for themselves. It's just so much easier to set up and prep for these when you do have these really threatening side lane individuals of Aurora and Renekton. And then they did such a good job here with the CC that a Braum Ashe brings. It's actually an engage for LYON a little bit late. Good attempt at going for turn off the lights and go for a smite fight, but then they go on the Braum here. And that's exactly what Cloud9 would like. A lot of cooldowns used on him. They even, Licorice only gets the ultimate, the public execution on him too, even though by that time the fight's already won and they ran all the way through.
Yeah.
Aurora did such a good job. That ultimate is so good at these like middle of the map fights where you can get a giant pincer on people.
Exactly, and you look at how they positioned around the Herald too, there really wasn't a good avenue for OD to press R and get a shockwave onto multiple members. Everyone was so spread out, and there's a Braum in front of them. So it's like, do I go in the Braum? Do I go behind them? Because then Braum's going to stop my team from following up. Like, there really isn't a great avenue for LYON to actually get into that moment, and you got to credit Cloud9 for that. They're playing this very defensively very well.
Yeah, it's one thing to like go for, you know, a smite steal or something on an objective. Another thing to then kind of be in a terrible space to fight the team fight, because you lose way, 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 way more from the team fight than just giving up a Herald, you know.
Oh, but they're going for round 2 right now, and this time they almost find it between worlds to dodge out the damage. And Loki just outplays Odilan with the team behind him. Credit to LYON for the attempt, but C9 yet again answer in kind.
And everybody at home with God vision, you know, we're seeing the whole map here, sees all Cloud9 just waiting for this play.
Yep.
The defense is there waiting behind him. Loki knows what he's doing, standing out there. They bait him in. They take out the cooldowns, and let's see.
Oh, change of crystal arrow goes a little wide. It was close. That was the first. Was that the first like proactive pick attempt that C9 has made? They made a lot of plays at objectives, and then they've turned a lot of engaged onto them. But they are playing this very patient, very slow, very methodical, compared to LYON, who, to be fair, is the team with more of the engaged tools and more of that kind of onus to look for the plays. They're falling behind. They're one dragon away from giving over that soul.
Yeah, I would say the reason it kind of looks like this, that Cloud9 are not taking unnecessary fights. They're so focused on the objectives that every move is setting up for the better, territory to be able to start an objective. And then if LYON come to you, then you can actually have a better team fight, and they showcase that. Or if they don't go to you, then you just get these objectives anyway. And so they've been able to rack up so many. Now we're facing Dragon Soul Point on the way. Voracious Otacon already here and waiting. And another attempt on bottom side, now with 4 members of LYON lying in wait. Licorice as well has teleport ready, so they could try and invest everything in an Otacon side of the map fight. If not, like it does feel like Cloud9 will continue to control all these setups and not allow them a way back in. They're going to have to make it snappy.
And the thing about how patient Cloud9's playing this so far, and Otacon being on the bottom side, once Baron spawns, theoretically C9 could make a play for that instead. That's one of the things about Otacon and how much it's done a wrench in pro play priority around this point of the game is, yes, this is up, but give it a couple more minutes. Baron will also be up. Dragons will also be spawning. That's going to be the Dragon Soul and Otacon on the same side of the rift.
Yeah, I think next goal on the list here for Cloud9 are the outer towers. The side towers still standing. Just focus on that gold first. Like you're saying, it's actually beneficial for them to have both Otacon and Baron up at the same time. So you've got plenty of time to work with there. Invest the next couple minutes, get that little bit of extra gold, take away the safety of those outer towers on the side lanes. And then you really have a dangerous situation for LYON where map is open and there are very, very expensive buffs on the Rift with Otacon and Baron. And that might be just what Cloud9 have been building towards. The Flicker Blade build for Sven, by the way. This is a fun one. Did see it a little bit in, I believe, LCK. And you just spam hawk shots because you can constantly get such good cooldown refund on the long cooldown.
Saint still has a turret for now, but it's about to go down.
Objectives.
Yeah, just like you were saying, that is the focus for C9. Take out these outer turrets, and guess what? Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Perfect timer for C9.
And Cloud9 already had all this control before they had like infinite hawk shots with the Flicker Blade Ash.
Yeah.
And now Sven's like, you know what? We actually do have God vision. I'm just going to spam out hawk shots. We already have a nice gold lead. We already have objectives lead. So now with the extra security of all that vision.
And now they can just confidently walk up like this too, because they see everyone bottom there. They know that LYON was alone for a brief moment. And it's the opposite of paranoia, like we had said before, which I'm going to dib therapy. I think that's the true opposite of paranoia right there. But Dragon started up right now.
The other thing that Sven just gets to shoot out all the time, of course, are the ultimates here. So let's see if he's going to be able to land one of these, because LYON are coming for it.
This is the big engage. LYON are set up. We've talked about how much their comp can work, but what if they get engaged on instead? C9 say, we're tired of you pulling the go button. We're going to do it ourselves. Low health bars, but they are chasing away LYON, who are split apart right now, but Licorice does get one kill. That's a big shutdown. Loki in trouble. LYON are actually winning half of the fight. C9 push away LYONs. Maybe they can take him down, but that is a Dragon Soul denial for LYON.
And Bessa scaling, baby. Licorice got to 2 items there. He was able to get in, kill off Blabber and Loki. LYON's running for his life, finds a blast cone, finds a hex gate, and he's out.
Whew, I mean, that was wild that LYON were not the ones pulling the trigger for the first time that game. You could watch it. They were waiting for the right moment. I like the look for C9 to say, we're not going to give them that moment. We're just going to go in. But in that trade, they took so much damage that then it was just chaos after that.
Let's see about the reset then, because Dragon wasn't taken in the aftermath. since the long chase went out, and Cloud9 are returning straight back to the objective here.
Yeah.
Soul here on the line.
Lions spots this out. The rest of the team line is going to be walking in here. Odiland does have Paranoia again, so we could just go for round 2. Look at Licorice on the side here. He's getting engaged on, but the lights go dark, so no one from C9 knows what's happening. The Shockwave onto 3! That's what they've been looking for all game. Lions over the top, but C9 have absorbed it yet again. Nobody falls from Cloud9, and they will turn the fight yet again. C9 about to wipe the fight, get the Dragon's Soul. And they just can do no wrong. Perfect execution means nothing. Loki picks up the ace.
Loki jumping between worlds for the triple kill on the Aurora. It looks good for Cloud9 in 2025. That is a Dragon Soul. That Dragon Soul is going to parlay into a Baron as well.
Yeah, what a swing here. That looked like the best engage so far from LYON, but it just was not enough. Call it the gold lead, call it the positioning, whatever you call it. It's C9 that's about to be wearing purple right now. And that's 2 objectives back to back. They didn't even go for the Atacon. They're like, no, there's bigger fish to fry on this rift. And they pick up the Baron.
All right, that's going to be a reset. And there's so much standing gold on the map, too. With only 2 towers taken previously, there's a lot of gold for Cloud9 to collect with the Baron. Let's take a look at the fight, though, because they did get a large Shockwave, but it's so sectioned off from the rest of the team. You saw there was no follow-up there.
Yeah.
Big Shockwave, but bigger between worlds from Loki on the chase down. And then even this separated fight just benefited Cloud9 so much. Them being grouped to be able to chase off the fringe players there from LYON. Again, so much of this game, Kangas, has been about setup and approaching the fights here. This time, again, a little bit split for the side of LYON, and Cloud9's focus really comes through.
And again, just the comfortability that each of these players is demonstrating alongside each other. Very impressive for a team this early in the season. Now they're looking for a dive under the turret on the Licorice. He can't even move, man. Lions tries to turn it back, but he might just go down too. The concussive blow lands from the Winter's Bite. Loki slowing him down as well. He gets back to the turret, but the tier 2 turret will fall.
When was the last time you saw Mbessa get 0 dashes?
That's a good point.
That's the only time. Mbessa 0 dashes, just gets CC'd from 100 to 0. Licorice down, and the base is wide open.
Yeah, it's going to be a 5 versus 4 for a little bit here. Plus the Baron buff means that C9 can just continue the siege. 2 cannon minions in the top lane. They're going to take the middle turret as well. And LYON, I don't think they can stop either of these. They just don't have the wave clear or the damage to kill these Baron-empowered minions. So C9 are cracking the base. Open inhibitors. Oh, Paranoia, now they're catching somebody off of sorts. It's Sven right now who does go down. Shutdown picked up by Odiland. That is crucial for LYON if they want to keep their heads in this game.
Rest in peace, Sven. He accepted his death.
Yep.
No summoner spells you, no barrier, no flash. That's
Should've
okay.
gotten the Atacon, you know?
Definitely the correct move there for him, and Cloud9 will be fine just going for another reset. Let's see, we even got some nice and shiny upgraded boots on Loki. We got the 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. I hope that we get to see him get enough money for a Medjai's upgrade.
And you know what? I think now's the time, because I said at the top of show, I'm sure a lot of people watching didn't hear me say this, but I'll out myself. I said I wasn't sure what to think of Loki. I didn't have the same confidence that a lot of other people did in Cloud9, and I'm eating my words a little bit here. Loki is having a fantastic debut game right now on the Aurora, and it is setting Cloud9 up for just complete map dominance.
Yeah, I really do think there are large benefits to going for, over a month-long boot camp for this team to really work with the new players and everyone really getting to know each other well. And it looks like they've got a very good handle on how they want to play the game. Pretty methodical here opening.
Yep.
We'll see how they handle the fearless changes for draft. Otacon, of course, picked up. So the shouts go out. The GAs are on. Now it's time to run it down. Of course, you give a little bit more gold when you try and just rush headlong in and give up your Guardian Angels. 200 now instead of the 100, but
that's the thing. You don't have to just rush in and int your lives away for a turret. When you're this far ahead, they can just use this to win the team fight. and they don't even have to go down themselves. Blabber the focus right now, but he's just soloing Odiland over the wall between worlds. He's trapped in the whirlwind. Cyclone goes down. Nobody's falling from C9. The same cannot be said for LYON. Double kill picked up for Blabber, your NA jungle goat, as LYON in their debut game will not pick up the dub. C9 showing the strength of their boot camp, the strength of this roster. Working like a well-oiled machine right now as they'll knock down these Nexus turrets.
All right, there's one left. Everybody get him! Licorice!
The ace comes through for Loki. 7-1 and 9. Welcome to the LTA, to C9's new mid laner with a roar. They will stamp a victory on game number 1.
Meanwhile, Blabber pumping up those CS numbers. He had nothing else to do because he couldn't get into the picture for the Nexus explosion, so Wukong
Let's go for the stats.
got the Otacon teleport back to base, so go grab a couple more jungle CS.